the culture is not just something you can pull out of thin air and mandate it on people. There has to be an explanation behind culture, and the most important part of that explanation has to be why we have this culture. All right, what do we got? One more? Yeah, I think this was on EF Online the other day. Somebody asked about culture and, the establishment of culture and how important is culture. And I got a little fired up talking about this, because when you extrapolate culture out, culture is actually the ultimate form of decentralized command. Is the ultimate form of decentralized command. If I understand the culture of my team, then I can actually make decisions based on our values. If I know that as an American service member overseas, we uphold the highest values. When I have to make a decision about what I'm going to do, I can make a decision. I can make just about any decision based on the fact that I want to do the right thing. That's what I'm trying to do. So if you're in a company and you understand what the culture is, you understand that the culture is we always take care of the customer. You can make 99% of your decisions just based on the fact that, hey, look, the customer's bringing back this piece of equipment that we gave them and they say it's broken. Okay, yep, hey, roger that, no problem. Here's a new piece of equipment. Now, can it get to a point where somebody brings back a $1 million piece of equipment and you say, oh yeah, no problem, no questions asked here? No, there's a limit, but you can make 99% of your decisions just based on understanding the culture of the company. Same thing with safety. If we understand where the level of safety and how important safety is, if we understand that, then we understand we can make 99.9% of our decisions correctly just based on our understanding of safety culture. Culture is an absolutely powerful thing. And yes, you are right that where culture comes from is leadership. And what's important when I say that culture comes from leadership, when I talk to companies about culture, I say, where does culture come from? People say the leadership. I say, who are the leaders? Everybody in an organization is responsible for the culture inside that organization. It's not just, hey, the CEO sets the culture. Well, the CEO has influence on the culture, but that CEO can have a culture in his mind. But if the team doesn't understand, accept, acknowledge, encourage, grow, and believe that culture is worthless. Everyone, that culture has to be unified throughout the organization. How do you get the culture unified throughout the organization? Well, what we have to do is we have to make sure that everyone understands why we have this culture. We have to understand that, hey, listen, you want to know why we have the culture of the customer always being right? The customer comes first. You want to know why we have that culture? Why? Well, number one, we want to provide a good service. That's great. We're good people. We want to provide a good service. Also, when we provide good service, people go out and tell other people about the good service that we provide. People review us on the internet. People refer us business. We end up with a good quality rating. When we get a good quality rating from people, people come back. It grows our business. The more our business grows, the more people come in here, the more people get treated well, the more people spread that word. That is how we grow. The opposite, if we don't care about our customers, guess what? Bad word spreads even faster than good word, and we'll end up with no business here at all. Safety. Why is safety important for our culture? Well, because we don't want anyone to hurt. Yeah, absolutely. We care about our people for sure. Guess what else? If we have accidents all the time, guess what happens to our insurance? Do you know that there's companies, there's owners that will not hire us to build if we have a bad safety record? They don't want a safety group. They want a group with safety issues. So if we have a bad safety record, Dave, if you break the safety rules and you get hurt, it's not just you that gets hurt. Yeah, that's horrible for you. It's horrible for your family. It's horrible for your being able to pay your mortgage. It's horrible for a bunch of reasons. But on top, you're not just hurting yourself. It hurts the company because now the company has to pay more insurance. And now guess what happens to our price? We got to raise our price. And now what? Do we get more jobs or less jobs when we raise our price? I'll tell you, we get less jobs. When we get less jobs, do you still have a job? No, you don't. So the culture is not just something you can pull out of thin air and mandate it on people. there has to be an explanation behind culture, and the most important part of that explanation has to be why we have this culture and how the culture itself reinforces the survivability and the growth of our organization.
That culture to decentralized command connection, you actually also made that on an EF Online session from a question from one of the troopers who joins us on EF Online. But that was one that I called you on the phone after, because every time something comes up, you and I end up on the phone talking about some leadership thing and
doing a debrief.
That's right. And I remember calling you like, hey, that was the way you communicated that to them. And we actually made the connection to this client, which was this idea that culture is that's what decentralized command is built around. And that was a really powerful thing for me, because it was this idea that, in simplest terms for decentralized command, it's what let people make those decisions without their boss being over there telling them what to do, which simply cannot be done because you can't be with all your people all the time. But it got connected directly to what you said. Was one of the problems they described as like, well, we only have a 2-person safety team. We can't hire 20 safety people. That's exactly right. That's why every single person in the organization has to understand that despite whatever their title is or their job or their particular skill, they are responsible for safety. And actually, they're responsible for everything. But that connection of culture, which so all too often, culture is just some sort of thing that's written on the wall. This is what we believe, but people don't truly understand what it means. When I can now connect that to a principle that we teach, decentralized command is a principle we teach, and I'm actually able to explain it in a way that they go, oh, I know what you're talking about. I read that in the book. You talked about that when you gave your combat leadership brief to us. That was a really powerful thing that worked directly with them, because you know what? Most companies can't have an entire safety team just running around making sure everybody's safe. They need to rely on their people to believe in that. It lets their people make decisions that they know is in the best interest of the organization winning. And that was just a huge point that made a huge impact to this team.
It's amazing how everything's connected, isn't it?
Indeed.
All right, what do we got? One more?
Yeah.
Why am I known for being very decisive? Because I make very quick decisions. But the way that I cheat in doing that is I make very quick, small decisions.